Hi guys, welcome back to the Knitting Expat Podcast. My name is Mina. I say welcome back, I should say welcome to. It's the first one of this year, I think. I don't believe I've done a podcast this year yet. Yeah, things have just been, life has just been, yeah, so I don't know. It's just been hard to find time to sit down and do a podcast. I will be honest, I'm not knitting anywhere near as much as I used to pre-children. It's just one of those things where you're in that particular phase of life where things are just busy and yeah. Anyway, my name is Mina. Thank you for joining me today. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for sticking around, and if you are new, thank you so much for joining me. I have posted a few videos this year so far. I think I've posted a few vlogs. I know I did a dye day vlog when I went down to see a friend in Devon, and I've done I've just sort of started a spinning vlog series. I've only posted one video so far, but I'm working on the second one now. But like I said, life has just been a bit chaotic, and there hasn't been a huge amount of time for me to just do stuff like this, essentially. My husband's work is different than it was last year. I was just trying to think of how I was going to explain this. His job changed last year, which is all very good, but it just means he's a lot busier and it's a lot more chaotic, and he's traveling a lot more for work. He's actually away this week as well, so I'm picking up a lot of the pieces around the house and like primary carer with the girls and stuff like that. But that was, you know, that was the plan. That's what we agreed on. And to be honest, when he is around, he more than pulls his weight. He helps out so much when he is here. He gets up with the girls in the morning so I can sleep in a little bit. So he does do his fair share when he's around. But when he's not around, obviously it's all on me. And so it means things like this fall to the wayside. And that's just been happening a lot more frequently than I would have liked, I guess. I've also started doing some work part-time as well, which is very flexible, thankfully. I'm not going to go into that because it's not related to knitting or anything at all. It's completely different, but I'm doing a bit of work part-time as well, which again takes away more time from all of this. And yeah, so it's just that phase of life, and I'm trying not to be hard on myself about it, and I'm not really, to be honest. I'm more just sort of, I guess, explaining why I've not been around so much. And yeah, anyway, Nova's at nursery today, and Layla's off having a play date with a friend. She's already off school. And yeah, so it was Yarningham this past weekend, which is a yarn festival in Birmingham. And yeah, so I just got back on Sunday evening. Today's Tuesday, and I wanted to do a bit of a recap slash sharing what I've been up to recently, and sharing the goodies that I got whilst at Yarningham, because I don't want to forget about it. And I want to put stuff away, but I want to show you guys first before I sort of divvy stuff up and put them away. Sorry, I've got fluff in my eye. Yeah, so starting with what I've been working on recently. In terms of finished objects, I actually don't have any nearby to show you. that was not clever. I do have a couple of finished objects, but they're still packed in the suitcases from Yarningham. I haven't unpacked all of my samples and everything from the weekend. But I do have two new patterns that I've released in the run-up to Yarningham. One was my inside out hat, and the other one was Layla's cowl. I'll pop pictures up on the screen to show you while I'm talking about it. So both of these are patterns that if you have been following the channel for a while, you'll have seen both of these on the channel in vlogs or podcasts in the past. They are patterns I worked on a long time ago. The Layla cowl was one I created for Layla. It's a cabled cowl, and kind of goes with the whole philosophy that I think cowls are safer for children than scarves, and so they stay on their neck, less of a choking hazard. And the stitch pattern on this cowl means that it gives the actual cowl structure, so it stays up around their neck a bit more, and so it keeps their necks nice and warm. There is also an adult size in the pattern as well. And then my inside out hat is the one that I've had the most requests for that pattern to be released, and I started working on it before Nova was born, and she's 2 now, so that tells you how long that one's been in the works. Essentially you knit a hat twice that's attached at the brim, and then one side folds into the other, and then you can either have a folded brim or just wear it like a beanie. and yeah, it's a really fun, very versatile hat, and the pattern's written for any gauge, any yarn type of situation. There are a variety of different options given in the pattern, along with different sizes. So there's a little table at the end of that pattern as well. I'll try and remember to have both of those patterns linked down below. And I do have another pattern that's going to be coming out soon, which is my rainbow fungi cowl, which I did have at the show this last weekend, so some people got to get an advanced copy before it was officially released. But that should be coming in the next week or so. I am coordinating with the dyer so that we can, who is Eva from Seismic Yarns, so we can coordinate. She wants to make sure she has some kits available for anyone who would like to get a kit to go with the pattern. Alright, so of course when you first sit down to film and within 5 minutes the battery dies. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, my rainbow fungi cowl, so that should be coming out in another week or so, hopefully. I will post on Instagram when that is published, so if you are not following me on there, you should. It's just at Knitting Expat. Again, all of my socials and everything are linked down below. My patterns are also available not only on Ravelry but also on Payhip. For anyone who can't or does not want to use Ravelry for whatever reason, you can purchase it on there too. And yes, that's it for sort of like recent releases, I guess. In terms of what I'm working on at the moment, I have a pair of socks that I'm knitting up in my cobblestones pattern. So this is from my Beyond Vanilla part 1. So that's these are ready for heels, so I just need to get heels popped into these. So this yarn, and actually I think all the yarn I'm working with at the moment are yarns that I dyed doing that during the dye day that I did with my friend Gemma down in Devon. So if you haven't watched that vlog, you can go ahead and watch that and you'll see the process of dyeing a lot of these yarns. The next sock I am working on, or next project, is another sock, and this is just a plain vanilla sock, again in one of those yarns that I dyed, so can't really give you any more details on the yarn unfortunately. But this one was already sort of dyed half white, half sort of shades of green, and so we added some subtle colour, yellows and pinks, to the white section just to give it a bit more interest. And so that's coming up really nicely. And then finally I had this cast on as a sample for the show, just to have a work in progress, and I've just cast on another Layla cowl. And I do have 2 skeins of this yarn, so I might knit this one to be longer, I'm not sure. I'll decide once I get to the end of the skein. Again, this is one that I dyed at that dye day. This one was originally like a salmon-y colour, but it was just a bit too peach for me, so we just made it, we threw a bunch of red on it. It's a non-superwash yarn, so the colour isn't as saturated as it looked when it first went on, but it's fine. It's a really nice sort of soft corally pink, which Layla loves, so, and I don't mind it. So that's the third project that I've currently got on the needles. I did have a fourth. I did start another inside out hat out of some hand spun, but as you can see I've ripped it out because it's hand spun. I wasn't entirely sure of the gauge of the yarn because it's hand spun, and this hand spun is a little bit thick and thin, but I did not swatch, and therefore I just made a guess onto the stitch count and needle size that I was going to need, and I guessed incorrectly, so it was turning out to be a little bit too big, so I just ripped it out. And I will do something else with that, either cast on the hat again in a smaller size, or sorry, or do something else. Clearly need more coffee. Anyway, staying in tune with that dye day, I did have a few other skeins and a bit of fibre left that I didn't get round to dyeing before leaving. So Gemma kindly dyed them for me and then sent them along. So I thought I'd share those now as well before we move on. So I can't remember what this fibre was. I think it was Polworth that I left with, that I'd taken. And so Gemma dyed them in these fun colours, reds and yellows and was a little bit off here. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I've got some fun colours. I think these are two different fibres. They feel different. I think this one was the Polworth. Can't remember what this was. Either way, it'll be fun to spin, and some, yeah, just some fun sort of spinning fibre. And then in terms of yarns, I have this one, which is a interesting sort of yarn. It's a chain ply yarn that Gemma threw a bunch of yellow, like golden yellow colours, which I really love, like this section here. That looks really pretty. This will be really fun in like a hat, I think. This one, I'll have to go back and check my photos because I took photos of the tags of everything. Oh, this one wasn't undyed. This one wasn't this is sock yarn. This one was just a blank sock yarn, which she's just thrown a ton of bright speckles at, which I am not mad about. I do think that's really fun, this whole section here. It's just really fun. And then this one was some of my hand spun. That was like a really sort of boring, muted, sort of muddy grey colour. So again, she threw a bunch of purples and teals and fun colours at it, just to make it more interesting. Honestly, it was just so blur before, and now, I mean, you can get an idea. This is sort of what it was like all over, and I don't mind it, like a little bit of that, but that all over, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but now it's got some more zhuzh to it, and yeah, so I'll see what that ends up becoming. So that was the last bits from that dye day that arrived, and I guess we shall move on to Yarningham supplies. So just give me a second, I'm going to rejig my setup and I'll be right back. Back to Yarningham, or moving on to Yarningham now. I will cover fibre first because I only got a couple of bits of fibre. First thing, it's not a tiny amount of fibre at all. It is a giant floof ball of Cormo, and I've never been able to find Cormo fibre here in the UK. So when I saw the seller selling, I can't remember, I've got the leaflet here so I can check the different companies' names. So let me just remind myself who sold this. I have a feeling I know who it was. It was Wooltops here in the UK. Wooltops had Cormo on their stand along with a whole bunch of other really lovely fibre, and so this was 500 grams for £15, which I thought was an absolute steal. So that's like £3 for 100 grams, which, yeah, really good price for just plain undyed Cormo fibre. And then the other thing I picked up from the dyer Sealy McWheely, Spin, Knit and Create, this really fun sparkly bat. Can you guess who this is for? Yes, it's for Layla, and the colourway is called Banks Fleur. I think she told me it was a kind of flower, and it's hand dyed BFL, British Blueface Leicester and British Shetland and Merino. So it's a fun art bat, which may become a hat for Layla. Who knows what it'll become once it's spun up. And then moving on to yarn, also from Wooltops, I picked up 2 skeins of their Falkland DK. So it's kind of a heavy DK, it's 200 meters per 100 grams. So I have 2 skeins of that here, which, along with this set of minis that I picked up from the yarn artist. She a lot of her colorways and a lot of her a lot of her yarns are inspired by famous artworks, which I really was attracted to and really loved a lot of her yarns. She had a really beautiful range of Frida Kahlo yarns and mini sets and stuff, which was stunning. So this one is called Speckled Favorites, and it's interesting. I don't often see people doing DK minis, and so this was a superwash merino DK mini set, 100% superwash merino, and there are 7 minis in this set, and I thought this would pair really nicely with this dark green. Hopefully you can see that. The plastic's kind of making it a bit washed out, but you can kind of see what I'm going for there. Some nice sort of earthy, foresty kind of colours, vibes. I might knit her a little forager sweater, like my colourwork raglan sweater that I have. I did a red one for Layla, but this might be a really fun version for Nova, or maybe do something completely different. Haven't decided yet, but there's plenty here to knit her something. Then what's next? I'm just sort of going through as I can see them coming up top. Next up, also from the yarn artist, I picked up 2 skeins of this beautiful yellow. This was Symphonic Sunset. It's 100% superwash merino, full ply or fingering weight, and this was in her, these were in her bargain bin. She only had 2 left, so I picked those up as well. So again, probably something for Nova with these, maybe. And I also picked up these mini skeins from Mrs. Lamb Yarns, the lovely Ellen, and I really like them. They're really sort of bright, sort of summery rainbow set, and you don't often see people throwing a peach into like a rainbow set, so I thought that was quite fun, and I thought it works well with these yellows. Again, I'm not entirely sure where this is going to go or what it's going to become yet, but I'll figure it out. Either that or this will just become a pair of fun scrappy socks. I haven't quite decided, but I felt like these could go well together, or on their own I could do stuff with them. We shall see. I've tried to pick things, or I tried to buy things that went together and or went with things that I already know I have, and my yarn stash is not as elaborate as it used to be. I have just one shelf with yarn. I have another shelf with hand spun, so I have lots of hand spun yarn, but not as much yarn. I think I counted the other day, and I think I have less than 20 skeins of sock yarn in my stash, so that's quite low for me, considering how prolific I used to be with sock knitting rather. Then also from Mrs. Lamb Yarns, Ellen very kindly gave me this skein of self-striping sock yarn for a design, so I will be coming up with some new sock patterns soon, which is exciting. So this is her yak sock, 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon, 4-ply fingering, 400 meters and 100 grams, and this is in her 2024 Lunar New Year colorway, which is just really fun. And because it's on yak, it's a much more muted color, because yak is just a naturally, I think it's like a grey base yarn, so when it's dyed on grey it'll be much more muted. And then from Fruitful Fusion, the lovely Ishrat. I've worked with Ishrat before, and it's just been a long time and I've not seen her before, so this was my first time meeting her. We've chatted on Instagram, we've chatted online. I worked with Ishrat on my Around the World socks collection. She's sent me yarn to use for my London socks, which was really exciting, and it was fun to finally be able to show her her sample in real life, because I'd taken those samples with me. And yeah, so I purchased this yarn from her. This is her forest colorway on 100% non-superwash Corriedale 4-ply fingering weight, which I think is beautiful. Again, can you tell I'm into like these really rich dark greens right now? I'm just very attracted and very drawn to these sort of dark greens at the moment. They're a really good sort of alternative to like a dark neutral for color work, especially. I find like a dark green or a dark blue, like a navy, would work really well as an alternative to like a grey or a cream for contrast. Anyway, so I've got that. Not sure what I'm going to do with it. That could also go with these mini skeins instead of the yellows. That actually almost looks better, I think. I don't know. I guess Nova's getting a lot of green jumpers. Let's just put it that way. We'll see what that becomes. But then Ishrat also very kindly gave me this yarn to use for an upcoming design. Not sure what it's going to be yet. But I have a lapis lazuli on her sock blend, 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 425 meters in 100 grams. Again, really lovely navy blue. Absolutely love that. And this mini set, which is in the red aqua, and it's the same base, 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 20 grams each. So yeah, this kind of reminds me sort of like a bunch of flowers, like roses, and then the blue is a nice contrast against them. The blue and the darkest red don't have the highest contrast, but it does contrast well with the others, and I think that would still work beautifully, so we will see what that becomes. Right. Alright, a few more bits to go. So I had my friend Gemma, like I said, she was my booth buddy for the weekend, and she helped me out a lot in preparing for the show. I've never done a show before. This is my first time as a vendor at a yarn show. I have helped out other people at shows. I've been booth buddies for other people vending at shows, yet I've never personally vended my own stuff, or as a designer I had no idea what to expect and how it would go. So it was a very interesting and exciting experience, and without Gemma I genuinely don't know where I would have been or how I would have gotten through it all, but I did. And yeah, so she also very kindly dyed some yarn to go with some of my patterns as kits. I should have gone and got them because we had some yarn left over, and I have some kits that I can put together that I do need to put up for sale at some point, so I should have posted that. Oh, you know what, I might take a break once I've done all this and go get that to show you guys in case anyone's interested and wants yarn kits to go with the patterns. Then feel free to hit me up and I can sort you out. So I'm gonna go get those in a bit, but I bought this sock yarn from her. She named it Layla's Red. And this green, she gifted me this one and she called it Mina's Green. So she's actually stopped dyeing now, so this was kind of like her last hurrah sort of into dyeing. So these are very much limited editions, so I've promised Layla something out of the red, and I'll obviously knit something for myself out of the green. So yeah, so really lovely, just some good old sock yarn, 75/25 merino nylon. And then also from the yarn artist, again, I was speaking to her about getting back into designing and stuff, and she had this sock set inspired by Van Gogh's Sunflowers, and she really wanted a design inspired by that painting, so especially for socks. So I said absolutely, I can definitely do that, and I had a few ideas already. I just love those speckles. Look how fun those speckles are. So I need to work on that at some point as well. And then one of our so we were in a room, well, my booth was in a room, we meaning me and Gemma, and our friend Lee as well, who was with us. The room we were in, we were with like a handful of other people, and one of our room buddies was a booth called Little Stitch Dog, and she had some amazing little notiony bits, like accessories to go along with your knitting, like needle stoppers, stitch markers, the little suede tags that you can sew onto your finished projects, buttons, all sorts of stuff like that. So I picked up these little rainbow needle stoppers for Layla. Been trying to get her into knitting, and it's been it's not hard, but she doesn't like it when I correct her or try to help or try to tell her how to like improve what she's doing. And so she just gets frustrated, and then I get frustrated, and then I'm like, we can't do this, this is why I can't teach you. But she's insistent on wanting to learn, so I thought I'd get some fun stitch needle stoppers to help. And then also from the same booth, I picked up a bunch of her buttons. I don't know how well you're going to see these, but they're like super sparkly, ooh, dropped one, in different colors. I picked up a whole set in red, and I think a whole set in like the silver, and then a bunch of different colors to create like a rainbow selection. Where did that button go? There it is. Let me see if I can show you up close a bit better. You see, there we go. They're just really fun, and I thought get a few of those. And then finally, Eva, who runs the Scottish Yarn Festival, had some beautiful yarn, and she very kindly gave me some to use for a design. So I already know what this is going to be. There is one colour missing that she's going to be sending me because she didn't have it in the 4-ply, which is what I needed. So these are the colours I've got so far, and there's going to be like a tealy blue colour coming as well. So the grey is going to be the base colour, and then the other 4 colours are going to be sort of the accent, as it were. So the colours I picked up, and they're all named after Scottish clans. So I've got the Innes. So I've got 3 skein of the Innes colour. Got 1 of the Colquhoun. I am so sorry if I am butchering that. Colquhoun. I got 1 of the Sinclair and 1 of the Christie. And I can't remember the name of the tealy turquoisey one, but when that comes I'll also share it. So that's those so far. And yeah. Throw these all into the bag. I'll sort all this out later. My desk is now piled high with stuff. I am gonna go grab the yarn that I have that's for sale still. So if anyone is interested in kits and stuff that you from the show, leftovers, bear in mind, like I said, this is gonna be limited edition yarn. Gem is not gonna be dying for the foreseeable future. So so yeah, let me know. I'm gonna go grab that yarn now. If you are not interested in that, then thank you so much for joining me today. I think I've covered everything. I don't have much chit chat left. I kind of did my chit chat at the beginning, but yeah, so thank you for joining me. And if you are interested, then stay tuned, and I'll be back in just a second with more yarn to show you. Okay, so back again, and yeah, so I wanted to show you the yarn kits, or the yarn in general, that we have left after the show. So if anyone's interested in any of these, feel free to send me an email. My email is knittingexpat@gmail.com. It's also in the description box below. Or you can also message me on Instagram, but email's better because I'm less likely to lose track of it. So we have 2, I'm sorry, let me just double check. I've made a note on my phone of how many of each we have left. Okay, so I have 2 of these Rainbow Wings kits left. It's I can't take it out of the bag because I don't want to mess it all up, but it's 1 full skein of sock yarn in a navy colorway, and then 12 10-gram minis in a rainbow. And so this is for my Rainbow Wings shawl pattern. I will try and pop a photo up on here to show you whilst I'm talking. And yeah, so this is Gemma's interpretation of the yarn for that pattern. It is such a fun pattern, and it was a really popular one at this weekend as well. And yeah, we've only got 2 kits left of that for anyone who is interested. Those are £50 each plus postage, so depending where I'm posting stuff to, I will figure out the postage once you get in touch with me. And then for my Starry Skies shawl, which again I'll pop a picture up, she did 2 different colorway kits. One is inspired by the original sort of Van Gogh Starry Skies colors, and the other one is more of a tropical sunset theme. Sorry, this bag isn't the best bag. It was just I was using what bags I had left for packaging. I didn't want to go buy more plastic bags unnecessarily, so trying to be eco-friendly as much as possible using what I had. So yeah, these are more tropical. They don't show up as properly on camera. They are neon. They are so bright. So if you're really into like bright, funky colors, this one's for you. And this one's a lot more down to earth, so to speak. But yeah, you can also use these for any other sort of 4 skein shawl project, or these would make great sweaters as well, to be honest. So these are £80 each as well. So trying to make sure I give all the prices. We have, so those are the last 2. We only have 1 each of those colors, of those kits. And then I have 3 DK 2 skein DK kits. This was originally put together to go with my whale song cowl, which I designed a few years ago now out of John Arbon textiles. and it's a really fun sort of cabled fisherman's rib. It looks really intricate, but it's actually very simple to do cowl. But you could use this for any sort of 2 skein project. And this is 100% superwash BFL, and it is so squishy. It's really nice, and I really like the colours together. Very sort of autumnal vibes. There are tons of 2 skein patterns that you can use this for. You can use this for colour work. If you have my cowls book, you can use this for any of the cowls in that book, or just any sort of 2 skein DK project. And then, so I don't know if I said we have 3 of those, and they're £50. No, that's not right. £30. £30 for these, and we have 3 of them. And then I have 2 of these 3 skein DK kits. This was again put together for my Snow Day shawl, which is a really popular pattern. It also works well for my Elysian shawl, which is my sort of intro to brioche shawl pattern. And basically, again, any other sort of 3 DK skein project. This is £50, and we only have 2 of these left. And then finally, I have 4 skeins of this really fun sock yarn, just single sock yarn. Fun sort of plain base with lots of fun purpley and blue speckles on it. So we have 4 of these, and they are £20 each. So if any of these are interesting to you and you would like one of them or a couple of them, whatever, then feel free to let me know. I do also have a few of my cowls books, the physical books, left over as well. So if you'd like one of those as well, then please let me know. And yeah, I'm not gonna officially post these on Etsy or anything right now. I don't have the time to do that. So for now, I'm just gonna do it as and when stuff comes through. I might post them on Instagram as well, but for now, probably for the next week or so, it'll be just through anyone who watches this video, and then I'll go ahead and post on other platforms. So if you are interested, please hit me up before they run out. All right, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will chat to you soon. Take care. Bye.